Happy New Year to you, your family, and to all the Chicago Bears from all of us at CHGO, our first pregame show of 2023, brought to you proudly, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app, use that promo code CHGO when you sign up. Look at these smiling faces.
Smiling faces.
I'm glad that we all made it through last night. I'm glad that Woot is in his palatial estate with his golf, his dope hat, which is a sweet look. Glad that Nicholas Moreano is in studio for his first pregame show of the season and 2023. Braggs, you look adorable. You got the brick juice.
Got the brick juice.
Adorable for Braggs. I thought he was
New
a tough
year,
guy.
same brick juice.
We got a ton to do in the next hour, taking up to the Bears and the Lions. The Bears in Detroit are very similar. We'll get to that in about 20 minutes. Adam Hogue is in Detroit. We'll talk to Hogue at the bottom of the hour. We've got Bayless Jones. I sat down with him in the locker room earlier in the week. He's got his own New Year's resolutions. I couldn't have done it any better, so we're going to play you 2 minutes of Bayless. But, Woot, we're going to start with you, my friend. Happy New Year. Bears, your own, somebody on the team that you've got a New Year's resolution for. Give me something that's popping in your head as we go into 2023 that you'd like to see someone, the organization, take a step forward.
Well, I want to see this, right? I know next year in offseason, free agency, the draft, got to address the offensive defensive line. But I just hope my one resolution is that we get Justin Fields a number one receiver. So Ryan Poles, get him a true number one, not somebody you think can be a number one, somebody that can pair and two number twos. No, we need a dog at number one. That's my New Year's resolution for the Bears. Ryan Poles, put that together, allow Justin Fields to have a guy that can go up and get it, those 50-50 balls. It will make a world of difference for Justin Fields in this offense.
I mean, I think that's
you just cut to the core. You just cut you hit us right between the old eyes. That was it. I mean, you look at the Lions. Amon-Ra was a 4th round pick. You got second round studs all over the NFL who are number one wide receivers. It's on you, Poles. You traded away this 32nd, 33rd. Depending on how this goes, could be 34th, 35th pick in the draft for Chase Claypool, which doesn't make anyone excited right now. But, okay, that's fine. Get it with your late 2nd round pick. Get it with your 3rd round pick. Get it with your 4th round pick. That's what it's going to take.
He's active today, so we'll get to actually see Chase Claypool, which will be nice for a change.
Huge. You gotta get something from him, hopefully, here in these last 2 games. If you're going to play Justin, and we've had our discussions, that's great. Let's get Chase the ball. Let's start facilitating that chemistry before they go into the offseason and have to work that out. I mean, Corey, I'm sure you had a chance to watch a little bit of these games yesterday. Quentin Johnson, streaking down the sideline, high-stepping, one man to beat, and then he goes blazing down the sideline. I think it's going to be really interesting to break down between Quentin, JSN from Ohio State, and Jordan Addison from USC. Everybody's kind of got different opinions. Do you got any kind of early thought on any of those guys?
I really like Johnson from TCU, man. He's an absolute beast out there. I really wish Marvin Harrison Jr. was available this year. I know he's got to go another year, but I mean, he's an absolute monster out there. But I honestly think with the first round picks, I don't think we're going to go receiver. I think we're going to have to get him through a trade. During the free agency period, because I think we have so many needs at defensive line, offensive line, that I think that first pick is going to be a defensive lineman. So I would like any of those guys, but in my opinion, I think the best value would be trading for a wide receiver in the offseason.
Didn't mean to make it out like I was laughing at Woot because I wasn't. I'm laughing at you, Benny G, in the comments with Carmen with the venti macchiato. You're a funny man, Benny G. This is not a venti macchiato. This is just your Empress Cloud hot tea so I can have the dulcet sounds for you on this beautiful Sunday pregame.
I certainly think it's possible. I mean, if the Bears stay at 1 or 2 and they trade back and add a additional first-round pick this year It's a lot of ifs,
Yeah.
but certainly in the realm of possibility, that does open up the door for potentially one of these wide receivers. So, it's just something to keep your eye on. I'm obsessed.
No, I got it. Because you brought it up for Wood, and I want to get to Nick's resolutions and your resolutions, and I've got 7 resolutions for the Bears. But since you brought it up, what was your Braggs dream moment watching yesterday, Michigan and Ohio State in the Big Ten looking like they were capable but coming up short?
The Michigan game?
Either whoever you saw yesterday that you
it was a brutal day
excited.
for the Big Ten. For once, they look like they belong, and then they both fall short. C.J. Stroud, again, if you're, for me, I'm looking at it through a Bears lens. So I'm watching C.J. Stroud go off, and I'm like, inside Ryan Poles' mind, I'm like, look at how much value he has right now. Let these quarterbacks' value drive up and up and up. Bryce Young for Alabama, his value only went up yesterday. And that's a great thing if you're a Bears fan. You got these quarterbacks playing well. No, one game doesn't make it all for their draft value, but it certainly doesn't hurt when you play like that. So that was my takeaway from the day is the quarterbacks played great, and that only can help the Bears depending on where they pick.
My takeaway from the day is I knew right when Ohio State got stalled at the 30-yard line, and because I'll be honest, I have a hard time watching Michigan and or Ohio State playing in college football semifinal where they could end up. I'm not a fan of either program. I went to Iowa. I grew up with the purple. It's just like it. I can't even enjoy it. So I was like back and forth watching. But when Ohio State sent out the kicker 85, I'm like, there's no way this dude's making it. 85 does not make that kick. And
apparently he's a really good kicker.
I know.
I watched the game with a crowd of Ohio State Buckeyes, a party of Ohio State Buckeyes, and it was the collective sigh that was in the room when that happened was just, the kick was nowhere close. It was one of the worst kicks I've ever seen.
When that pressure's on you, it hits different. It definitely hits different.
They needed to get a little closer, and it just didn't happen. But give them credit, at least for putting themselves
It was a game. It was a good game.
It was a great game. It's a nauseating loss for Ohio State. It's a nauseating loss for Michigan, and and the call at the goal line is disgusting. But is it bothering me that the Big Ten lost yesterday and there will be no Big Ten team competing for a national championship? No, that's where I'm at. I don't. Do you root for the conference?
Oh, always in the bowl games.
You do,
especially Ohio State. I honestly thought they were going to get blown out by Georgia. I thought Georgia had too much firepower, especially up front. And I was really surprised with how well Stroud played, how well the offensive line played as a whole. Because SEC has some of the best defensive lines in the game, so it was very impressive. And like Braggs was saying, it's always good to see the quarterbacks do well because then now Stroud has elevated his stock in what people are thinking. And it could be a thing where they're like, hey, Stroud or Bryce Young, it's just all about personal preference at this point, right? Regardless of what these experts are saying, one team could fall in love with him over Bryce Young, and that could change some things in the draft.
All right, let's get back to the resolutions here as I try to bury what happened yesterday. Nick, what do you got?
Yeah, Bears New Year's resolutions. You talked about wanting the number one wide receiver, Corey, which was definitely one of mine, but getting some kind of pass rush, you guys, like for 2023, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be just one guy. Collectively, this defense needs to create pressure on opposing quarterbacks because
ding ding
too long this season there are guys just sitting back there diagnosing where they want to go, distributing the football. That needs to change, and we can finally see what Eberflus's defense will look like once you actually have a pass rush because that secondary is playing pretty well. Not having that, and when they do, that can change a lot of things. And then just a personal kind of resolution for myself.
Sweet,
like
let's hear it.
Like just ask more questions. I think that can go a long way in terms of getting better stories, understanding the game a little bit more. But something that you learn throughout journalism school. Just ask questions, be more curious. So, to the New Year's resolutions for me.
Go Nick. What do you got there?
And Nick,
yeah,
real quick, just to chime in on what Nick said. Right, Tampa 2 defense. It thrives on rush and cover, right? We've had some really good cover the past couple weeks, but no rush at all. So he has all day back there, and the Tampa 2 defense really opens up when you have a talented pass rush. That's when the turnovers really go there because, against 2 great quarterbacks and Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, we had 4 picks without a pass rush. So imagine if we have a pass rush breathing down their throat. All of a sudden, those 2 picks become 4, then the sack fumbles, and then all of a sudden we're a team that can generate 4 to 5 turnovers in a game. So I think that defensive line will be huge this next coming year, and I think Eberflus is really going to get at least 4 really good defensive linemen, and hopefully some really good bookends.
I mean, if they do what you just said and they get even 3 impact players up front somewhere, you will be hearing stories about how the Bears secondary is elite. Because if they are actually knowing that there's going to be pressure and they can be a little more risky, I think we're already seeing ball skills from Kyler Gordon. Maybe Jalen can step out and be a little bit more creative. I think you're freeing up Jaquan Brisker to do a ton. Hopefully Eddie comes back and is healthy. Maybe they even I doubt they would draft another young safety somewhere late.
Can you imagine Sandlocker flying around if you've got a 3 technique that sucks in those offensive linemen? Sandlocker is going to completely lose his mind next year.
He's on my resolutions. I actually have like 7. So go ahead. Let's.
You got 7. See, you said team resolution, player resolution, fan resolution. So I got 3. I'll go through them quickly. Bayless Jones, expand your route tree. Last week, we saw a step in the right direction. Great throw by Justin Fields, but a great job by Bayless Jones to go to the sidelines and go get that ball on a deep route. Not just this sideline to sideline behind the line of scrimmage plays, stuff downfield, expand your route tree. Team resolution, I won't bore you with it too much, but I did come across this graphic that I found interesting on Twitter. I sent it to Joey, but it's no big deal. It's 2nd and 10 runs after an incompletion on first down. I know this sounds silly, but after an incompletion on first down, and it's 2nd and 10, the Bears lead the league in running the ball, and they don't run it with success. And there was this really interesting graphic where they run it over 50% of the time, and the bar also read that they don't get any success from it. And you can see this graphic here. I don't know if it's going to make too much sense. It barely made too much sense to me, but it basically showed me that we are too predictable. And I was reading through the comments, and there were some Bengals fans saying, we had this same problem a couple years ago, and then Zach Taylor finally got off of this. So I thought that was interesting. I get the Bears have to play conservative, but next year, got to open it up a little more and get that graphic going the other way. Because if you notice, the Dolphins and the Bengals, they're at the bottom. And, they're 2 high-flying offenses, right? That's kind of the offenses we want to be like one day. I know we need the tools to get there. But my fan resolution, my personal resolution to all of you in the chat and all of you on Bears Twitter, I am going to stop rooting for losses. No more in 2023. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry to all of you. I've been begging for this top 2 pick. I know it's nauseating. I bring it up every day on Twitter. Every time we do one of these shows, I'm obsessed with this top 2 pick. But I am done with it.
Why are you yelling? It's New Year's Day morning.
Everybody's hungover. And I'm yelling. I'm done. I want the top 2 picks.
We have 2 more games. We have 2 more games in this year. How about for the 2023 season?
Right, the 2023 season, I am not rooting for one loss, and I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind every time they lose. But for this year, yes, we need maybe 2 more. But I'll zip my lip from here on out. Carm, you go.
So much passion. Just sitting here, can feel it all.
That was an excellent resolution, Gregory, and I'm proud of you.
Brick by brick. I'm going to stop rooting against my team I love.
You don't need to apologize for rooting for the tank. That was you're a strategic. You were a guy who didn't want to have all your. You were willing to wait for dessert. You weren't the 8-year-old that sat down at the dinner table and said, "Give me my chocolate cake right now." You ate your peas. You ate your carrots.
That's right.
You scarfed down that broccoli, and all in the moment. So you
don't get a body like this not eating your vegetables, kids. Come on now.
Well, that would be an interesting. That would have been an interesting resolution for you. You're gonna get, but we didn't go there. So hey,
I'm gonna get flexed out like Woot this year.
There you go.
You'll see.
Here's what I got for you. I went down the road here. Here, Matt Eberflus, my guy, the Flus. I love you. Year one, you've done fine. You've built the culture. But you know what? You got it. Year 2023 for the Flus. Think more outside the box. Let's raise the ceiling of where the Flus can get to by being just a little bit more of a creative Flus. You got the culture. You did your job there. But let's start thinking a little bit more creatively. This one I thought of for you, Woot. Luke Getzey, think more in the box. Let's not try to wow us with dazzling moments when the run is working and it's 3rd and 1. You don't need to be fancy here, Luke. Put that ball right in the belly of David Montgomery. Give that ball to Khalil Herbert. Let's go. And when you have a healthy Justin Fields next year, you can let him take that 3rd and 1 run as well. Go ahead. I see the mouth move. You want to follow up on that one, Woot, or are you good?
Oh no! I was just nodding, man. I was just nodding.
Yeah.
I was acknowledging. Yeah, it was right in line, baby.
Justin Fields, you're perfect, but I've got one little tidbit for you. In your press conferences, you say the words "of course" at the end of every sentence. I don't know if you guys have noticed this.
Yeah,
he finishes up, and then, of course. It's extra. You're the great. You're on your way to being the greatest quarterback in Bears history. Get rid of the "of course." More, just that you don't need it. Your press conferences will be that much better. That's my one. Jack Sanborn, Sandgot, don't change anything. That's
Sand
your
locker.
resolution. You're perfect. Keep leaning in. Braxton Jones, weight room, my friend. It's an off season of let's get the squats going. Let's work on the upper body. Let's do the whole thing. To double down on Wood, I've got Poles draft a receiver, a really good one. And then for myself, this is for everybody out there. We're going serious for 1 second. I'm holding the hammer this year, and whenever the thoughts creep into anything that happened into the past that's weighing you down or anything negative, any of that doubt comes in. Same thing for the Bears, perhaps when, or Bears fans like worried that we're never going to get there. You are going to hold the hammer this year, and the only thing that matters is the present. And in that moment, you're getting it out. You're going to chip forward. We are moving forward as best we can in all moments in 2023. So I wish everybody an amazing. Thank you. Year to come.
Brick by brick, baby.
Brick by
Look at that.
brick.
It's a
Hammer
great
that
graphic.
brick by brick, baby.
Dude, I love that
Yeah, it
graphic
has to,
right
baby.
there.
That's a Joey
That's
special.
two of the
Thomas
best.
Jones.
Two of
That
the
is.
best of my lifetime. Thomas Jones and my favorite of all time, and that will never change, Devin frickin' Hester.
There you
job,
go.
Joey.
The year of Hester. 23.
It's the year of Hester. It's the year of Jordan. It's the year of Sandberg. Who else do you want?
Ventura.
I mean,
Jermaine Dye, World Series MVP. Chris Versteeg.
It's gonna be a good year.
This is a big
Out of
year.
20, Jerry Azuma.
Who's zooming? Who?
Kyle Fuller.
Kyle Fuller.
Ah, yes.
Who's 23 on the Bears right now? That's the pop quiz hot shot.
Why am I blanking?
23 right now.
Come on. Get one guess, quick.
No, we Lamar Jackson.
Dang, he's good. He's good, Corey. He got it. That was real good.
Don't bark
Smart
up
guy.
this. Don't bark up this tree. I want to
Breaks
get
the tape down, damn it.
I want to get Woot's thoughts about Kevin Warren and Hoge's up in 10 minutes, and also actually coming right out of this, I want to play Bayless Jones, who I am absolutely 1,000% rooting for because damn it, we need him for one, and for two, Bayless is just a good dude. That locker room is filled with good guys, and Bayless is one of them. And I hope for Bayless that this coming year he is actually more efficient. And the way to do that for Bayless on the field is catch the football, and the way off the field is to join the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, which is committed to helping families and businesses. Our friends at ComEd will make your wallet feel that much bigger, and also the world a better place at the same time with putting more energy out there. You want to not wait. That's a 2023 resolution for you. Get started right now saving money and energy. So what you got to do is go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz, ComEd.com/poweringbiz. They're going to give you a facility assessment. They're going to figure out how you can actually save money and save energy. Win-win. We're about win-wins in 2023. Two things to do. If you don't want to get on the website, you can call them, 855-433-2700. Of course, do that during normal business hours, 855-433-2700. Or you can email them at business. Thank you, at ComEd.com. Business.
Corey, you do it.
Business at ComEd.com. Thank you to our friends at ComEd.
Oh, that was great. Also got to tell you guys about Shady Rays. They are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles cater to everyone and every lifestyle. The best part about Shady Rays, they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. If you lose or break the shades, on day one, they told us they'll just send you a brand new pair. Doesn't matter what you do to them, they got you with that awesome protection program. And even with that strong of a protection program, they still manage to make quality that I can tell you holding in my hand seems just as good as any expensive pair I have ever owned. And Shady Ray customers seem to agree, with over 200,000 5-star reviews. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. Use code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at ShadyRays.com. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54.
They're awesome.
Redeem only at ShadyRays.com, where you can find all the newest and best shades.
All right, Hogue coming up in now 5 minutes. Thoughts on Kevin Warren in 2 minutes. But here we go. Bayless Jones. Joey, let's get Bayless up here. And this was, I think, Wednesday in the locker room hanging out with Bayless. And listen, we've taken shots at the disappointing moments of Bayless, and we've also seen the talent. I've just been impressed with this guy's attitude. So here was a couple minutes with Bayless and New Year's resolutions. We cover a variety here in a quick 2 minutes.
Bayless, give me your favorite moment on the field, 2022.
Favorite moment on the field? I would say I have a few. I would say the kickoff return in Atlanta. That was one. That was exciting. And I would say the 44-yard catch this past Saturday. So, yeah, that was probably my favorite too.
That was awesome.
Indeed. Thank you.
Did it feel sort of breakthrough? Like, okay, I'm here. I'm doing this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always good, to make a big play, especially being a rook and stuff like that. Not having that many opportunities and to capitalize off opportunities. So, yeah, that was like a little breakthrough.
I've noticed one thing about you, like, if you have a week where it didn't go perfect for you, you come in here, you're smiling, you're talking to dudes. It doesn't seem to like weigh on you. Like you move forward. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Like that you're able to sort of just have confidence in yourself that I'm going forward. Is that fair?
I mean, yeah. That's how I was raised. You can't dwell on things that you can't change. If anything, you'll miss out on your blessings or what God's trying to show you if you're worrying about like the past. I mean, it's nothing through the ups and downs. Like I said before, everything happens for a reason. God don't make no mistakes. And not only that, like, it's a blessing to be here overall, and I've been focusing, on living in the moment. Don't be, looking, even though the off season's around the corner, live in the moment. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be doing this. And the next game, the next day, nothing's promised.
Yeah. 2023 New Year's resolutions or any goals popping in your mind yet, or as we get towards the end of this one?
I mean, I won't say I'm not huge on that, but I will say it's definitely some things, you got to leave in the past, and if it ain't good vibes, and, if it doesn't benefit me in any type of way, if it's not bettering me, it's getting left in 2022.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
I'm rooting for that guy. Right? You've enjoyed your times with Bayless this year, Nick.
Yeah, he's always positive. He always has that mindset regardless of the game he's had, like you kind of were asking him. And, again, kudos to you, Mark, asking good questions to get those answers from Bayless there. So,
part of corn, baby. I love it.
It's noticeable that he's just hanging out with his guys in there after having some really rough weeks. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of like scratching my head. Like, if that was me, I would be quiet. I would not be enjoying my day. It would be weighing on me. So, and I kind of wondered if this is this real? Are you actually in this good of a mood? You know, you're basically fighting for your NFL life. But then he comes out the next week and has his best catch of the year. And I thought it was a little interesting in there that he said that, you know, unlimited opportunities. So, you know, that's yes. And when he has had his opportunities, at least at times this year, he hasn't capitalized. So these last 2 weeks are absolutely enormous for Bayless, I would think, to get to the next level. I see Adam Hogue is live and ready. So we'll get to Kevin Warren after Adam, who is, wow. Look at the professional Hogue in a tie covering games like his. Look at this guy, just fresh, ready to go. I think we're gonna put him in a sweet little Hogue box.
Working on it. Hold on.
Okay. I can't tell what's real and what's not real.
There we
You
go.
could cover me up with Hogue's face. That would actually be a very enjoyable look.
There we go.
There he is. Good morning, Happy New Year, Adam Hogue.
Good morning, guys. Yes, we wear ties on game days. We have to be professional when we're out here. I think this might be a violation of CHGO standards, putting a tie on, but old habits, you know, I couldn't resist.
Looking like Mr. Brooks. The serial killer. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
That is a rough start for
How do you
2023.
know that?
It's a Kevin Costner movie. It's a joke.
No, he's looking like a Brooks Brothers ad. That's what you meant to say.
That's what I meant.
All right, before we get any
I still
further,
got the Nikes on.
there we
There
go.
you go.
All right, but before we get any further down the road here, give us the update on what's been happening so far this morning in Detroit. I know we got a lot to cover here, Adam. So what has stood out from in the stadium? Maybe we could start with the Bears wide receivers and who we're going to be seeing today.
Yeah, you know, I think the first thing that stands out to me is just that this offense is probably as healthy as it has been maybe since the last time the Bears played the Lions. I mean, they've had and even back then, you know, Chase Claypool wasn't really in the mix yet quite. So to me, when I look at what the Bears did against the Lions the first time they played, there's no reason to me why they can't put up points today. I think that they've been limited a little bit the last couple of weeks because of their opponent and because of the injuries that they've had specifically up front. But getting Cody Whitehair back, getting Tevin Jenkins back, this offensive line is basically back to full strength. And then with the wide receivers, you're getting Claypool back. You're getting Equinemius St. Brown back. Dante Pettis, look, he's active today. I watched him very closely in warm-ups. I didn't think he was quite 100%. But can he go out there and catch punts for you and not, you know, fumble those, not muff those? Probably. And so I think that's probably the reason why he's active today. But otherwise, you know, looking at this matchup, I think the Bears should be able to move the ball today. And if they don't, I think that would be a disappointment.
You say the offense should be able to move the ball today. With Justin Fields, he had a really big game on the ground against the Lions in that first game. Get the offensive line back, get some of the weapons back. What are you kind of thinking for what he can potentially do against this Lions defense today?
Yeah, so my only question is, and Woot, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this too. I don't know that Fields is as healthy as he was earlier in the season when he was, you know, popping off those 22-mile-per-hour runs when he would get in the clear. And the reason I bring up the speed is because I'm not even really talking about his shoulder. Remember, this was a guy who was talking about how his legs were tired before he got hurt with that shoulder injury. And I think we all agree that's part of the reason why he got hurt, because he probably beats that guy to the edge or gets out of bounds and doesn't take that hit in Atlanta and never gets hurt in the first place. So I think that we'll find out here because this is a fast track. Obviously, playing at Soldier Field on that field last week in the cold weather slows you down no matter who you are. And so I'm hoping to see him look fast again and be able to break through on some of these runs. But if he doesn't, then I think we're kind of understanding that, hey, the wear and tear of a long season is probably even getting him a little bit with his speed.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hogue. I think people fail to realize even adding another game, right? That's a big difference. And I don't think Justin Fields thought he would run this much when the season first started because they really weren't doing it like that. And I think, yeah, he's dehydrated a lot of times, it seems like, in these games. He's getting cramps. He needs IVs. So it's a lot different, how he needs to take care of his body going forward. So hopefully, like you said, we can see the Justin Fields that we saw early on hitting that 22 miles per hour. But I don't know. It kind of seems like maybe that hamstring, maybe there's something along with that, right? Maybe his hamstring has been bothering him a little bit, because I agree, even on the one run against the Eagles, he still didn't seem like he had that same speed. So maybe there's something there that's been limiting him with the lower body.
Adam, this is a huge game for the Detroit Lions. They got to win today, and they got to beat the Packers next week and get a little bit of help to get in. I don't know how much that really actually matters. Like, people, this matters a ton to the Lions. Therefore, they are going to win. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that they're the better football team at this point. But this is kind of a sort of an historic moment for Detroit, trying to get back to the playoffs for the first time since 2016.
Yeah, well, look, I've covered many games here in Detroit where it's a little sleepy. A lot of times the Bears have played here on Thanksgiving. There's a backup quarterback in. The Lions are sometimes winless. There's not much reason to be in this stadium and be all out as a fan, just going crazy for 3 hours. I'm kind of excited for this today. I mean, it's a standing room only crowd. Every seat's going to be taken. The fans are going to be in it. This is a fan base that's been punished probably even worse than the Bears fan base has over the last 30 years. Barry Sanders is in the house today, which is kind of cool. I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere, and I think it's going to be one of those games where if it plays out on the field like I think we all think it will, where there's points put up, this could turn out to be one of the better games of the day. Across the National Football League, just in terms of entertainment value. And I think that I'm curious to hear how loud Ford Field can actually get, because, like I said, I haven't been at many meaningful games here. And so I don't know that it's ever gotten as loud as I think it can, because it's a relatively low roof, cavernous type stadium. And that may give the Lions, a pretty good advantage today when Justin Fields is out there on the field. And so that's, from a football standpoint, something to watch, just in terms of the silent count and managing that. Can the Bears avoid false starts, pre-snaps, penalties, and things like that?
How hard was that, by the way, playing in a dome stadium when the crowd's engaged?
You talking to me, Carm?
Yeah. I'm
I
wondering.
thought you were talking.
You're the only guy that could speak to that, like what it's playing in a raucous environment indoors, and you can't hear. It's different from a quarterback from a D lineman. I get it, but yeah.
It's tough, especially for somebody like Justin Fields, right? When we played in Minnesota when they were good in the Metrodome, right? When Jared Allen was, reeling them in with the sack dance. It was hard when they got that crowd noise rocking and you had to go on the silent. It's as a defensive lineman, you love that because you can get the extra jump, because the tackle's having to look inside. He's a little bit late. And a guy that really comes to mind for me this week is James Houston from Detroit, right? He's really flashed. He got activated 5 weeks ago, right, from Jackson State. He had 2 sacks in his first game. I mean, seeing what he can do in his arsenal as a pass rush has been impressive. He had this kind of dead man rush on one of the moves. It was one of the best things I've seen. It kind of reminded me a lot of Junior Gillette early on in his career, who played for the Saints, was a really talented pass rusher that had some off the field stuff. But James Houston is a guy to look out because obviously Braxton Jones, he's looking to take the next step, and I think this will be a great test this week against Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston, depending on how they rotate them on either side.
I think it's kind of interesting that you just said that, because if you look at the Lions and you look at the Bears, there are a lot of similarities, and maybe this is across the NFL, but to me it just stood out just going through the prep today. I mean, James Houston, that's a 6th-round find. I don't know, can you think of a Bears linebacker who was drafted late or not drafted at all, who's been one of the best stories of the year? I mean, they're not the same player at all, but it's just where they're finding these guys. Sanborn, Houston. You look at Jabal Williams is not David Montgomery, but running back in their 20s who's going to be a free agent. The Lions are going to have a decision to make on Jamal. The Bears have a decision to make on David Montgomery. You've got hold on, I got more underlinings here that looks there. Khalif Raymond, wide receiver, punt returner. Like that feels like it's actually Dante Pettis. Like there's some Evan Brown who when you're talking about him, valuable reserve center who can also play guard. I'm thinking, that's their Sam Mustipher. The Bears and the Lions both just trying to find their way in the NFL. The Lions are obviously ahead of where the Bears are right now, but I think if you were to poll the league right now, who would you rather be right now, Detroit or Chicago? I think most would take the Bears because of Justin Fields. I don't know. Am I making sense here, Adam Hogue?
Yeah, I mean, I think on a specific level you are. I think overall, though, I actually think these teams are somewhat different because the Lions have a lot of weapons that the Bears don't have, and they don't necessarily have the quarterback. And the Bears are the team that appears to have the quarterback and not much around to help them. I think when you talk about the Lions, they have a huge decision to make this offseason. Do they keep rolling with Jared Goff and try to turn him into Kirk Cousins with all these weapons he's probably going to have and then keep adding to that and around him? Or, man, I'm watching C.J. Stroud last night, and I'm thinking what a great fit he would be with the Detroit Lions with the weapons that they already have. And when you look at how they're going to have another high pick to work with while still owning their other first-round pick later on in the first round, I just see the Lions as a team that's up and up, but how up are they really going to be? Are they going to be a team that's drafting like in the teens in the future? Regardless, I think they have enough talent that I don't know that they're going to be like anywhere near the top 5 again. So in a quarterback draft that's relatively strong, I think they got to be smart here, and I think they got to use that early pick on a quarterback so that they don't become kind of what the Bears used to be, which was a good team that had a great defense, wide receivers, but never had the quarterback to kind of put it all together, right? I kind of feel like that's the road that the Lions are on. And I also want to give Jared Goff his respect at the same time. This is a guy who's been in a Super Bowl and is having a good year, but I just still feel like they need to get that franchise guy to take them to the top.
I tend to agree with you, and it's also like, 4th best scoring offense in the NFL is the Detroit Lions. 6th, Jared Goff right now is 6th in passing touchdowns and QBR. Now, he's got a great offensive line in front of him, so we all know that the problem here is that when he gets pressure, he's not effective. But he's got it set up for him right now. So, but I get what you're saying because you try to hit the home run trying to win a Super Bowl, and you don't think that Goff's
but why
the guy.
not both? Like, to me, this is a perfect opportunity where you bring Jared Goff back for one more season, and you could still draft that quarterback. Now, the problem is we all know how this works in this league, is that immediately, like let's say C.J. Stroud's on this team next year, the Lions fans, the first time Jared Goff throws an interception next year, are going to be calling for the next guy, and it just kind of puts that quarterback in a tough spot. So I'm not saying that that's easy, but I still think it's risky just to roll ahead with Jared Goff going forward. And like, there's a reason the Rams traded for Matthew Stafford, got Stafford, and got over the hump that they couldn't get over when they had Jared Goff as their starter.
They still made a Super Bowl. 14 touchdowns, 1 interception his last 8 games.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Again, I tend to agree. All right.
Adam, real quickly,
yeah.
On the inactives, you had Alex Leatherwood on there. Healthy scratch.
Yep.
Can Alex Leatherwood play? What's kind of your reaction to that?
Yeah, look, I think it just goes back to what we've been talking about a lot. You took a flyer on the guy, but it was kind of more than a flyer because you also took on a first-round contract. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't like you're getting him for nothing. I still get it. I think it was a good decision, but this isn't where you wanted to be with Alex Leatherwood late in the season. You've barely gotten to evaluate him. I think it obviously goes – if Alex Leatherwood was doing everything right off the field and had a good grasp on the playbook and was where the Bears wanted him to be off the field before game day, then he would have gotten a longer leash than he got a couple weeks ago when he just gave up that sack and they were like, nah, okay, goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, they would have given him more than that opportunity. And So whatever it is, off the field, on the field, a combination of both, being inactive as a healthy scratch this late in the year, it's not good.
I mean, anybody in REM? Go ahead, Woot.
No, I was gonna say I think that means he's pretty much done with this team. They're probably gonna release him after the season. But I would have just liked to see him potentially at left guard, right? Because if he could be an option there, like he's really strong, he's really good in the run game. I would have just liked to see him. Hey, even if he was active and Cody Whitehair was a starter, you throw him in for a couple series, and just see what he can do so you can evaluate him. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay. All of a sudden we have an option at left guard potentially for depth or potentially to be a starter. But at this point, I think they're just like, I don't even want to see him at there, which I'm kind of like, hey, we got 2 games left. None of this matters in the scheme of things, win, losses, or whatever. Put him out there for a couple plays, see what he can do.
That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, an aeroplane. Anybody know where I'm going here? REM. It's the end of the Leatherwood as we know it. It's the okay. That's what I've been doing with my morning. It's the end of the Leatherwood as we know it. It's done. And the Bears feel fine. They took a shot, and yes, it was a larger shot because of the first round contract. But it's the end of the Leatherwood as we know it. Go ahead and sing that through your day. You got anything else for Hogue over there, Braggs? End of the Braggs as we know it.
The Lions were 2-6 when the Bears played them last time. They're 5-2 since. What has been their turnaround to put themselves in playoff contention? What's the difference the Bears are going to see between now and the last time they did?
Well, I just think that defensively they started playing a lot better. And like even in that game against the Bears, they weren't playing that well. They couldn't really come up with a way to stop Justin Fields. Now it got away from them last week against the Panthers, obviously, but I think in most of these games they've been playing better defensively. I think the offense has been there for most of the year. Obviously, adding Jameson Williams to the mix makes a big difference, and I think that's been a boost. But yeah, I just think that they're a team that is making the jump that hopefully the Bears are in year 2, with their coaching staff next year. This is the same type of thing. Like, you want them to take off eventually, and that's what the Lions have done.
And Fields feels fine. Hit that like button if you like. It's the end of the Leatherwood as we know it, and we should make this a song. Hey, Hogue, before you go, we have a clip for you that I don't know if you remember that you might have said earlier in the week, but, we just want to brace you for postgame if things don't go the way perhaps you think they're going to go.
What have people been watching that they're so worried about the Bears actually winning one of these 2 games?
But Hogue, they've been right there.
And
They're
then
playing the Lions. You tell me there is.
Did you really think at any moment that they were going to beat the Pack? I'm the one who live bet the Packers when the Bears were up 19-10.
Hold on.
Every single one of these games.
Hold on.
What are it's the Lions? So I think it's the opponent. That's what's giving me like if the Bears are in
the Lions are better than the Packers.
The Bears should have beaten the Lions. They had them beat.
And then what happened? That's exactly my point.
But-
and then what happened?
The point of that clip was that Hogue believes the Bears have 0 chance of winning today. Are you still at 0 or have you gone to 1?
I wasn't at 0 that day. I made that clear. But I was probably at like 97% sure the Lions. I'm still at like 90. The only thing that's changed at all is that the Bears are healthier than I thought they were going to be when we had that conversation earlier in the week. I think that does make a little bit of difference in terms of the amount of points the Bears. I'll tell you where I'm at. From Thursday until Friday when I had to submit my prediction, I went from Lions covering to Bears covering. So I do think this will be a closer game than I was saying earlier in the week. I still maintain what I said there. How many times do we have to watch this in the fourth quarter? The Bears defense, not very good. They're going to give up the points that they always do, just like they did against the Lions the first time, and the Lions will end up winning.
What did you commit to if the Bears win?
I didn't commit to anything. You said that I had to do something that I didn't agree to, and
I said if the Bears beat the Lions, you have to stay into Detroit till draft day. And I may or may not have been emotional when I said that.
He can't do that. He got kids at home.
I just said you had to walk around I said you had to walk around the stadium twice and do a live video and or just record something and put it out there and talk about how this is what you learned on your trip to Detroit, which I think is a great idea.
No.
Sure, I'm not
the
worried about it.
Lions are winning
Whatever.
this one, man.
Polar
Lions
plunge.
are winning this.
Send them in Lake Michigan.
All right. Hogue, we'll see you for the post. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
All right, Adam Hogue up in Detroit, so obviously we'll have him for the post, which will be right after the game, which is 3 o'clock. All right, I want to get to Kevin Warren, Woot, and your thoughts about the Big Ten commissioner possibly being the president and CEO of the Bears. But first up, Nick, what's moving in your world over there? I know there's something that you are very passionate about.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone should be passionate about it's Game Time, the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Have you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you never thought you could?
Yes.
50-yard line?
Yep.
Courtside?
Mm-hmm.
Behind home plate?
All day.
All right. Floor seats at a concert, Greg? Yes?
All day long.
Okay. It's
going
possible.
in a couple weeks.
Oh, where are you going?
Old Dominion.
Okay.
Old Dominion?
Yeah.
You don't need you don't need Game Time for Old Dominion, but go ahead.
Well, it's possible with the Game Time app, everybody.
Be hating on us.
The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You won't find better deal this season on, well, there's one more Bears game. Bears Vikings next week. Bulls, Blackhawks, any Chicagoland sports team. You can find them on the Game Time app. And it's created by the fans, for the fans, and guarantees the lowest price. And if you love CHGO, then you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is to be going through Game Time and buying your ticket through the link in the description. So join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events.
And just a reminder, everybody, you want to be making your bets with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. $5. Were you ready for this over there?
I was.
You are? Go ahead. Tell people.
I was going to tell you about the fans, the tradition, and the glory, and then Mark tried to steal my thunder.
No.
There's nothing
my bad.
more. There's nothing, Mark Carman, more thrilling than college football, and it all comes down to the national championship game happening on Monday. My go-to for betting is DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. And right now, new customers can bet just $5 on college football and get $200 in free bets instantly, win or lose. Check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost. The bigger your shot to win big. Download the DraftKings Sports app now. Use code CHGO. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See notes for details.
Brick by brick, DraftKings?
Brick by brick, DraftKings.
All right, Woot. The big news of the week, Pete Thamel, ESPN reporting the Bears have had multiple interviews with Kevin Warren, commissioner of the Big Ten, COO for the Vikings from 2015 to 2019. What do you think?
No, I like that a lot. He has experience in the NFL over 20 years there. What he's done in Minnesota, he was responsible for the big stadium, the Bank of America stadium that they had. I mean, I've never been there. Have you guys been there? I heard it's unreal. Heard it's one of the best in the NFL. But what he's been able to do there and with the Big Ten, adding USC, UCLA, getting that huge media deal. I think it was $8 billion over 7 years, one of the biggest deals ever made. So he's a big numbers guy. And when we talk about the Bears potentially either reconfiguring Soldier Field, going to Arlington Heights, he has the experience from back in his Vikings days. So I think it would be a good fit. And I heard he represented Chris Zorich, too.
Yep.
As his agent back in the day. So I think he understands football more than people understand, but I think they're bringing him more for his finance and his understanding of the stadium and what he's been able to do with the Big Ten.
Yeah, the Zorich thing was underlined because it was just part of his relationship with the Bears, and he's also on, forget that's bad. That's a loaf on me. But he's on a committee with George McCaskey, so they're just tying connecting the dots together as to how he became one of the Bears' main targets. It's interesting to me that news came out, and they've also met with Colin Faulkner of the Cubs. Nobody's reporting on that. So, how does this come out? Do the Bears want that to come out? Was it put out? The Big Ten's had to make a statement on it. The Bears are making a statement that there's no timeline. This is I think for a Bears fan, you can be excited about it because on the level that, Ted Phillips was with the organization for 39 years. He was the Peter principle. He just kind of moved up the food chain and maybe was doing jobs that he wasn't exactly completely skilled to do. Anything involved with football, I think we would all agree. This dude is coming in with big chops, but he's coming in because they are trying to maximize the amount of dollars and what they can do with the stadium. So if you're a fan, does that somehow filter down to, okay, now we've got more money to put in scouting and because it's a salary cap league. It's not going to impact the players they can get, but maybe they'll be more invested in finding those players and being more creative, that it could impact the team. But I'm having a hard time outside of that. Yeah, that makes sense. Good professional hire. But getting excited that this means more wins on the field for the Bears. I want them to hire a qualified dude, but I'm not oh, sweet, Kevin Warren, now we got this. I'll be much more interested in, oh, sweet, Ryan Poles drafted a receiver in the second round that a lot of people think can be elite. I just think it's hard to get excited about this, if that makes sense.
Mark, I think maybe we just need to look at steps, what we know he can do initially. And I think just looking at Minnesota Stadium, what that's like and what that can mean for the Bears in Arlington Heights, there's the first step. That's where Kevin Warren can come in as being maybe president of operating, whatever the title will be. That's where I look at the upside and why Bears fans should be optimistic. And then obviously we need to get into the winning and how does that help the Bears become, a modern NFL team with a modern stadium, but one that's also competitive. So it's going to take steps for us to figure out and see the actual blueprint. But that's the first thing that when I saw the Kevin Warren news, I've been in that Minnesota Stadium, the layout itself, where it's at, how everything kind of just works around it. Perfectly executed. You can bring that to Arlington Heights. It's going to have a way better fan experience for Bears fans.
I would trust Joey Spathis. I would trust you. I would trust Braggs. I would trust Woot. I would trust Kevin Kadek, head of content, to come up with hey, what a cool stadium. I don't think it's that hard, but the building everything around it with the community and maximizing that seems like an upper level skill set. All right, enough with Kevin Warren. Woot, what do you want to see today? What will your eyes be on?
So there's a couple people, right? I'm looking at Braxton Jones, that guy James Houston I talked about, because I think he's a very talented pass rusher. In my opinion, he's just got that natural ability. So how is Braxton Jones going to hold up against him? Because I think James Houston is the first player since Terrell Suggs to have a sack in each of his first 4 games. So I think that's telling. He played under Dion, so he has some talent there. I want to see Tevin Jenkins, how he's going to bounce back from that neck. If he looks like his old self, is he still a little bit banged up? And then I want to see Chase Claypool and Justin Fields, their connection, right? Because going forward, right, we know we have to get a number 1 receiver. I don't think Claypool is the number 1, but if he can be a number 2 along with Darnell Mooney and a true number 1, I think we have some good weapons going into next year. And then Cole Kmet in the red zone. That's really what I want to see as well, is him come alive in the red zone. Because for a 2-game streak, I think he had 4 or 5 touchdowns. And he kind of, fizzled out a little bit. So I want to see him have some more targets in that red zone. Because Luke Getsy, last thing I want to see is him in the red zone, right? Because he gets very run happy. I want to see him air it out, right? Cole Kmet. Let's see what Chase Claypool can do. Let's see what St. Brown can do in that red zone, because going forward, we're going to have to be better in that red zone area.
Can't believe that Morey's calling out my shoes. Can't believe that Tae-Yoon is doubling down on that. All right, quickly, Super Chats. Love you. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, everybody. From Bear Forever 14, Bears will be competing for a Super Bowl before we have a new stadium. Book it. They better be Bear Forever. Or things will have gone wrong here. Joe, you got our props?
I do not have the props.
Okay, all right.
We have them all in notion though. We can all just say them right here.
I got Fields going over 177.5 yards. It's minus 115.
Perfect.
Nick?
I have Fields over 89.5 rushing yards plus 160.
Wow. Over. That's a dicey one after last week where he only had 11 rushing yards. That's a dicey proposition. I'm going even dicier. Bayless Jones plus 1,100 to score a touchdown today.
I love it.
Come on. Keep stacking the positive momentum, Bayless Jones. I'm rooting for you. I literally put $5 down on Kari Blasingame plus 13,000. $5 will win you like $680 on my guy Kari Blasingame. $5. Come on now.
What a moronic bet.
Not moronic.
Why don't just give me the $5?
If you put $1 down,
I'll buy you a coffee.
$30 or something.
You could have had an elite coffee for $5 instead.
When he goes in the end zone, I am gonna go insane in this place.
Okay, all right. I mean, I hope it happens. I'd love to see it.
Should have put more than $5 down.
No, you shouldn't have. 5 is good. That's an outstanding job. Is anybody picking the Bears?
It's gonna happen.
We got 1 minute. Is anybody picking the Bears to win today?
No. Woo. Oh yeah, Nick is. Oh, you two are.
Mark, you got them 27-25. I got Bears 27-24.
27-25, 27-24. We're coming at. I'm trying to catch Braggs
come at the king. Better not miss.
The Bears don't have the firepower, Carm. The defensive line, we just don't have the pass rush to win it. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll come down to like a last-second field goal by the Lions to win the game. But I don't think we have the firepower. Detroit's playing for their livelihood. For this game, it means nothing to us. So that's why I think Coach Campbell is going to get them fired up, ready to go. He might even suit up this week and play a couple of tight end. He's like, I'm chomping at the bit to get after these defensive linemen. So I think they'll be ready to go.
He's going to bite someone's cap. We'll see you for post.
Sounds good. Take it easy, fellas.
And we'll see everybody else for post. Happy New Year, 3 o'clock or whatever it is. We'll be right back here. Going to be entertaining no matter what. Thank you so much for tuning in to the pregame show. And Joey, thanks for producing. We'll see you after the game.